Hey everyone, I want to jump on before you get into the podcast episode today and share that I'm launching the Wise Warrior Mastermind, which I'm really excited about because when something comes through me, it comes through with full energy and love. And I really wanted to convene a small group of about 5 people where we can really go deep and create a safe container, a safe environment, place where you can just be free, let yourself be you. You don't have to worry about bringing any baggage into the group. And we can really focus on these mindset teachings that I have embodied and learned and mastered over the last several years. And I can share them with you and we can work on them together and we can support each other and create some lasting impact and change in your life. So we can focus on how to lead with love, how to live in flow, how to master your thoughts and what belief systems you have, and so many other things that we're going to work on together. So if you're interested, please reach out to me at david@davidkrichards.com, or you can go to the website davidkrichards.com/program/mindset. We're going to get better together. We're going to learn, we're going to grow, and it's going to be a small number of us. So if you're interested, please reach out as soon as possible because we don't have that many spaces. All right, enjoy today's episode. Thanks. Hello, my friends, and welcome. Excited for episode 32 here. And as always, when I do a solo, almost always, I love to start with a little guided practice, a centering, a grounding, get us back to our hearts and calming our mind, body, nervous system, everything. So let's close your eyes if you can. Take a nice deep breath in, deep breath out. I always like to set a little intention for when I meditate or when I calm myself or do True North at the school. So feel free to set that intention now. We're just going to do a few minutes here. It might just be an intention to find peace, it might be an intention to calm down, it might be an intention to see more clearly. Just trust your heart and let that intention come out. So we're always running around so much. We're going from one place to the next, either a Zoom meeting or a physical location, or we're at a school or taking our kids to practice. And we don't really allow ourselves just to be. So just take these few minutes to allow yourself to just be. Let your breath kind of calm down. We'll do a little breathing exercise maybe to help you. So go ahead and breathe in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can hold it. 1, 2. And now exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can try and do that at your own pace anytime you're really running around or feeling kind of anxious or stressed. You can always count your breaths like we just did. So you can do that on your own now. Sometimes we tune into a podcast and we're running around and seems to be coming up a lot today, running around. And we're just not present. So I always like to start with being present. And you can start to notice when you're present and when you're not. Start to build that muscle of awareness. Excuse me. So we're going to do a quick little body scan here. Just check in with the different parts of your body. We can start at the head. Kind of envision just a calm, flowing water just flowing down just calming your body from the top to the bottom. I'm just going to slowly flow with the water from the top to the bottom and kind of check in with what we know to be true, what we're feeling. Maybe there's tension in the back or the neck. Let the water run down around our stomach and our lower back area. Wherever the water is running for you, just listen to it. You're feeling a lot of tension in a certain area, do a nice deep breath in and out to kind of loosen up some of the tension there. As we wrap up here, just continue to feel, if you're feeling a little calmer or a little more present, just remember that feeling. Just ask to bring awareness to that feeling right now so that throughout your day you can practice to switch and kind of check in and be right here, right now with this feeling and move your energy a little bit to be a little more clear, a little more grounded. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. Like I always say, no rush. All right. Thank you so much. Wanted to talk today about what I'm titling Disrupting with Love. And I really wanted to get you into a more calm space of seeing clearly, seeing the bigger picture and getting out of your narrow scope. That was part of the intention of starting with a guided practice, because we get really stuck in our positions and our beliefs and our opinions. And so I wanted to open you up to a more expansive space and a more expansive state and a more expansive view, because I want to break down this term disruption. And I remember years ago that I was really into it. Like, we got to disrupt the education system. We got to shake it up and change it. And all that's wonderful. And I still believe that. But what I noticed is that that feeling was coming from, I want to get back at people. I want to get back at the teachers that didn't get to know me or that didn't really see me, or my parents for not being as present as they could have been, or whatever it is. It's like, I want to get back at somebody. I want to prove that I could achieve and overachieve and outdo. And so there was this energy of creating change on the outside, but I hadn't really created the change on the inside. So I want to talk to you about disrupting with love, because I feel that as we are embarking on this change-making journey together and we're co-creating a new paradigm for education, or wherever your heart may be, but for most of us, education, we have to get really clear with where our change is coming from. And so many of you have heard the guests I've spoken to, and I will be speaking with a couple guests that talk about love-based schools. I think that's a really amazing term, because when we're trying to disrupt from separation consciousness and from our ego and right and wrong, and we're better than them and we're above them and all of those types of things, we're going to get more of that. So we're going to get more fighting, we're going to get more pushback, and we get lost in the noise of all of the fighting and all of the pushing. And we forget what we're actually doing this for, which is to create a better education system for the young people in our care. And so think about where you are as a change maker and where you're coming from and what's driving you. What's really driving you to want to create change? Is it because you think that if you create change on the outside, you'll feel better on the inside? Is it because you feel like you can get revenge? Or is it because I want you to be really aware of the reason behind your change-making drive? And it's so nuanced, which is why I love the term disrupt with love, because we can disrupt. I wholeheartedly believe that we need to disrupt the education system. There are multiple problems that need to be examined and uncovered. And I loved my conversation with Serge Hunt, which was last week's episode, because we started to see that there's different ways to do this that are just outside the paradigm entirely. And if you listen to Serge, you can feel his heart, and you can tell that he's not doing this because he feels like he wants to win an award or he wants to prove that he's the smartest person in the room. you can genuinely feel that he wants to create change in the education system because it's coming from the wisdom within himself and his own heart. And that is entirely and utterly contagious. You know that when somebody is passionate about something, you want to follow them because that's coming from their heart, that's coming from their essence, that's coming from who they really are, versus somebody who you're following because it's part of you that sees a similar wound in yourself. So now you're following them because you're feeling like, okay, if I follow this person, they seem to be really angry about the same things I'm angry about. Now we're going to go out there and we're going to blow up the system. And you're going to create more and more problems. And it's going to be difficult. And you will see change and you will see suffering and you will see pain. And what I'm advocating for is that you get really clear with what's inside of you that may be unhealed or wounded. And you start to love that part of you and then bring that forward to disrupt. You start to bring the love into the room. You be that light that shines in a room. You be the person who speaks from your heart naturally, organically, authentically, not somebody who's scripted and saying what they think they should be saying in a way that's not authentic. I was listening to a podcast this morning and somebody said that they've been in the social media internet space for years and they can count on one hand the amount of people that are actually authentically the same person they are on the internet or on social media in person, right? And you meet them, right? And I feel like that is sad. And the authenticity to be who you really are, to be true to yourself, is so incredibly important as you're creating change in the system. Because people will follow you when they believe you, and they'll believe, and you'll get the right people to follow you. If you are coming from your core wounds and things that you need to look at and you need to examine and need to work on, you're going to find followers that are also in that same space. So you're going to create change, and then that change maybe won't be very lasting, or it will be not as effective as you hope, or you'll just burn yourself out. You'll be so tired because you're not coming from the boundless, infinite energy of your heart and life, right? You're coming from a place that believes that there's scarcity and there's not enough, and you're not good enough, or someone else isn't good enough. And that will create dissension and division. So disrupting with love is you getting really, really clear. This is self-leadership, getting really, really clear on what you believe, getting really, really clear, and not from what you believe from other people's ideas and reading the books. It's what you believe in the depths of your heart, in your soul, what you believe to be true, what you think is the place where education needs to change, because you know that you are the exact right person to bring that change in. And like I always say, the scope is totally wide open. It could be something as simple as, I'm a 1-to-1 aide and I will work with this student in a way that where my heart is wide open and I start to see different ways that we can create amazing opportunities, or different 1-to-1 aid structures and systems and examples, and or it's simply just, I'm going to be the best at this. And I know that as I find my heart and I show up real and raw and authentic and I am my best self, then it's going to ripple out. And all of a sudden, everyone at school is going to be saying, what are you doing? You are an amazing 1-to-1 aid. Or it's, you're the superintendent that feels like, I want to create a sea shift. I want to create a sea change in my system. And you emanate love. You emanate this deep belief that there's a better way that we could educate our children. There's a better way to spread love across whatever you're touching. And that is where you'll see real change. Now, what is the term that you see all the time? Be the change you want to see in the world. I think we might misinterpret that being who we are in the West and think like, okay, that means I got to go out and do stuff. I got to be the action, which is true. And it also means getting really clear on who you want to be on the inside, who you are, who is your authentic self, the best version of you, the highest version of you, and then showing up as that person, being the change, right? And maybe that's how people interpret it. But a lot of times I notice people interpret it as, you got to go out and do something and show people how it's done. Yes. But from where? From what energy? What place? from a place of, I'm better than you, you're different than me, I know more than you. That is, sure, that's being the change too, right? But like I've been saying, be the change from love, which is the highest power. Be the change from there. Show up as the most authentic version of you as at this now moment. Because 6 years from now, if you really are working and desiring change and wanting to really grow and become a better person, you won't be the same person in 6 years. So be authentic to who you are right now and speak, like I said in my that one episode, speak it out loud, speak your change, speak who you are out loud. Don't be afraid. Do it in small increments if you have to, but begin to show people that you are timeless, boundless, infinite. You have energy that can change the world because of just who you are, the unique version of you. And show up like that, show up with love, and get really clear on what is it that you're trying to disrupt, right? Like I said, what space or position are you occupying where you can create change? Do not make yourself a victim. Well, I'm a teacher's assistant, or well, I'm a administrative assistant at the district, or oh, I only work, in the lunchroom or whatever. Don't make yourself a victim and say anything like that. You have immense power and you can create your own reality with your own beliefs and the way you feel about yourself and the way you show up. So show up as the person who creates change just by being the person they are. Show up into a room where everybody notices, not because you're overdoing it or, just show up as the calm, strength, loving energy. Show up in a room like that, and I guarantee you, people might not say anything, but people will quote unquote notice. They'll feel it. And they might ask you, like, oh, what did you do today? I get that all the time. Oh, what did you go to the gym? Did you, and I'm like, oh, this is just how I am. This is what I do. Like I spend a lot of time on my inner landscape and on who I really am and showing up as the most authentic version of me. And people then ask me, oh, do you read a lot of books? And it's like, no, I show up with love. I love myself. I know myself. And then I begin to bring that love into the spaces I go into. And like I said at the beginning, it takes awareness of understanding I'm coming into this space right now and I'm uncomfortable, I'm nervous, or I'm in this meeting and I want to prove to somebody that I'm the smartest one, or there's somebody who's showing me something that's a reflection of my own insecurity. So now I have to outdo them. All these subtleties, right? And so, like I've talked about before, self-awareness is a big piece, really being aware of where you are in the moment. Am I in a place where I'm trying to outdo somebody or do something to harm somebody because I need to feel better about myself? The moment you're in that place, that's where you really double down on self-love. You ask yourself, what is making me feel this way right now? And instead of lashing out at the other person, you take a break and you take care of yourself. And these are very nuanced strategies and activities and actions and things you do that I've mentioned that I'm teaching in the mastermind. And so some of these things you might be like, okay, I get that. I'm aware that I'm wanting to like punch this guy in the face, and I'm aware that this person's really triggering me, and I'm aware, but like, what do I do? And I always say just being aware is the first step, and you're quote unquote doing something, right? So I'm going to close by asking you to remember how you felt at the beginning of the episode when you were doing a short guided practice. Remember that feeling. If you touch that feeling of peace in your heart being open just for a second, a split second, if you felt that, I want you just to bring that in for this week. Just bring that in and then ask yourself, what is my change making dream? What is my change making intention or my change making that wants to come through just naturally through the flow of life, like as natural as a river flowing, like we talked about at the beginning, just flowing. And be open to hear that. And then notice, and again, this is very nuanced, so I'm going to go deeper in our mastermind, but notice when you're in that space of openness and your heart being open, just notice what comes through to you or what you feel or what you hear in that expansive voice in your own head, and start to maybe just write it down. I have a big poster board on the side of my wall with different colored post-it notes. And after I get out of my meditation every morning, I'll just write down like 5 post-it notes. And it's usually just like 1 word or 2 words. And when it's true, that small, still voice does not try and argue with you, right? It doesn't try and defend itself. So you don't want to argue with it, right? So just listen for that small, still voice. Listen for some clarity. What is one step you can take today to begin to move towards the change making you want to see to be the change you want to see in the world, right? So to do that, reach out to me if you have any questions. Like I said, the mastermind is launching soon, and we're going to have a small group, pretty small, probably no more than 7. And we're going to go deep every week and have these kind of conversations. And I hope this helps. And I cannot wait to continue to hold space for people like you that really want to create change, that really want to change yourself and change the things around you, meaning you want to change the system around you. So those are people I love to work with, because it's contagious, it's infectious, and people start following you and you start to see the ripple effects, and it's the most amazing thing ever. So take care of yourself. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon.